Hi and welcome to the PhoneArena video review of the Palm Pre 2, Palm's latest flagship phone running HP WebOS, or WebOS 2.0 as it was previously known. The Palm Pre 2 builds on the successes of its predecessor, but now with HP on board, Palm have been able to add a few tweaks and touches, especially polishing off things like the App Store for example. So let's take a closer look and see how it does. From the offset, we can see that it retains the same QWERTY portrait design and ultimately the same look and feel of its predecessor. The screen's all flat and it does look a little bit different, however nothing that's going to blow your mind. For the most part in turn, the aesthetics are pretty similar and something we're used to, which isn't necessarily a bad thing as we really like the Pre. The screen is an HVGA resolution display and it runs measures in at 3.1 inches across. It's a bit small for a smartphone, especially one with touch screen, but nevertheless, WebOS is pretty much built for it, so it works very well when combined with the operating system. Let's lift up the phone and we can see the QWERTY portrait keyboard underneath, and this is 4-tiered. The keys are not too well spaced out and they're not particularly raised, so pressing isn't as comfortable as say on a BlackBerry keyboard. So if you're a heavy texter, you may find it a little bit cumbersome to text long messages on. Nevertheless, for short messages it does work a treat, and it is definitely better than the Palm Pre's original keyboard. On the back you can see a mirror when open. When the device is closed, on the front you have the screen. Below you've got the in-call microphone. There's a gesture area underneath the screen which lights up and takes you through various functions which we'll talk about later, and on top of the screen is the in-call speaker. To the right hand side is a micro USB port, and to the left is a volume rocker. Atop the device is a switch to put the phone into vibrate mode and a power button, as well as a 3.5mm headphone jack. And at the bottom is a battery release. Flip the phone over and you can see the 5-megapixel camera on board with the LED flash and the speaker, as well as a Palm insignia. Taking the battery cover off, reveals the battery on the back with space for a SIM card. On board there's 16 gigabytes of memory and it's not expandable by microSD. In turn, we're pretty pleased with the Palm Pre 2, however would have liked a little bit more ingenuity with regards to the design. It's so similar to its predecessor and it really doesn't fix a lot of the issues we had. Sure, it improves them slightly, but we would have much preferred to see a much more accessible and much more usable keyboard rather than just a small incremental improvement on that. On the whole though, it generally gets a thumbs up.
With WebOS on board, the Palm Pre 2 is fortunate as it has an operating system pretty much bespoke made for it. It builds on the successes of WebOS 1.0, but the new HP WebOS also adds some speed and visual flourishes. As you can see at the top is a bar indicating your network provider time and various in-call alerts such as Wi-Fi, battery life and a reception. Below that is a just type bar. This means you can type in anything and it will either search the phone for it or give you some options to call various contacts with that information, Google search, Twitter, Wikipedia, or various others. This is very cool, and it made pretty much 3 of the main functions of the phone redundant: the phone book, the Google search, and the application opener, if we didn't want to open it and we were using the keyboard anyway. If you do want to use a touchscreen to open up your applications, you've got some choices. You can either use the bar at the bottom, dragging and dropping icons as you see fit, or press the arrow in the right hand corner. This opens either your applications window, your extras window, or your system menu. Again, these applications can be dragged and dropped in between both, so if we wanted to put our clock in the Extras tab, we can do just that. If you're in an application, for example, such as web browsing, and you want access to your quick launch menu, you can actually drag vertically from the bottom to pull up a ribbon with all your key icons on board. This is extremely intuitive and again a really nice touch from Palm. The caller is very simple to use. The buttons are very easy to press, as like we said, it's a bespoke OS for this kind of screen size, even though it's only 3.1 inches, and it all works extremely nicely. The in-call support is very good, and the call quality is pretty much above average. When you've finished with a card, you can just fling it off the screen, and there's something quite satisfying about doing so. The calendar opens up quite quickly, as you can see. However, this varies. If it's syncing online and there's a poor connection, it can take a while for applications to open up, which is a bit of a shame. Between appointments, it indicates free time you've got, and these can be expanded in an accordion style visualization, which looks really cool. We're really pleased with the calendar. It synced our Google calendar really quickly, but try and make sure you've got a good connection when doing so, as otherwise it can take a while. Other elements include the messaging, text messages, and chat. For example, GChat, AOL Instant Messenger, or Yahoo Chat are integrated extremely cleanly and well. So, as we can see, conversations appear in text messages appear in conversation mode with green and blue. And if you click buddies, then you've also got a list of all your AOL, Yahoo and Google Instant Messenger contacts. We can fling that off as well, and we've got access to all our other applications. Email works really well, providing access to Google Mail accounts, Yahoo, Windows Live, and other key ones. If you want some more specific mail providers, then you'll have to enter in more manual settings. Other applications on board include an application catalog, photos, music, videos, camera, Google Maps, memos, contacts, tasks, calculator, and Facebook, as well as others that you can install. There's also a PDF reader and an Office suite, and a clock. In the service menu, you'll find pretty much what you'd expect to find in the settings menu in, say, an Android or an iPhone. The app that we enjoyed the most was the Facebook app. It's integrated extremely well into the styling of WebOS. It can take a while to open, but you can really personalize it better than any other Facebook application. Another reason for this is the fact you can open multiple instances of the same application. So we can open a new card, and in this card we can have our inbox, and in the other card in the background we can have a search. This is very cool. We can even rearrange these cards, stacking one behind the other, or arrange them so they're not even part of a deck. In turn, the Facebook app is probably one of the best integrated out of any phone that we've used, and is definitely one of the Palm Pre strong points. Other application support includes the photo viewer, which is really nice and quick to use, and it supports multi-touch, rendering photos pretty quickly with the 1 GHz processor on board. It's very nice and simple with no 3D marquees or anything like that, but gets the job done. In addition to that, there's a music player. And the music player works very nicely. Again, you don't have any 3D visualizations, but it's somewhat predictable, but do you know what? It works, and it works well, so we really don't mind on this front. In fact, it's quite nice to see a new OS come out without, well, a relatively new OS come out without copying Apple's cover flow, for example, and just keeping things nice and simple. As far as music goes, when you're playing it, you can see there's a little music icon in the bottom of the screen, and you can access your music from that, which is very cool. There's also a video icon, application, which will play your videos for you. And this, in standard, is going to display your videos in landscape mode. The screen isn't amazing for videos, and it'll play videos up to a resolution of 640 by 480 in MP4 format. Having said that, it nevertheless does a perfect job if you're just using this for light video viewing on the go. With 16 gigabytes of memory on board, there's also plenty of storage for your videos and movies, which is great. The camera on board is probably one of the weaker points of the Palm Pre 2. The main reason for this isn't so much its performance, even though that leaves a lot to be desired, but it's in camera options that you get. You can either switch between video and photo taking, and when in photo taking, you can either switch the flash on, auto, or off. That's literally all the option that you get, which is a real shame. As far as performance goes, picture quality outdoors is pretty good. Let's go to a more descriptive picture. As you can see, when we were out in the snow and it was bright, we got good levels of detail for the most part, especially considering the camera doesn't even have autofocus. However, as soon as we come indoors, we really do start to see a struggle when it comes to noise and detail. In turn, it makes for a happy, snappy camera, but if you want anything remotely serious, then you may want to consider other alternatives. The web browsing experience is pretty good on the Palm Pre 2 as well. As you can see, we have PhoneArena open, and it's absolutely flying through it, even though we've got all those other applications open. It supports pinch to zoom, as you can see, and double tap to zoom as well. It will rearrange text in order to fit your page, and on top of that there's flash support, which is great. It's not going to play flash videos as well as Android phones with Froyo might, or Gingerbread indeed, especially the higher end ones, and sometimes it won't even play flash videos at all if they're too big. However, it really does provide great support and visualization of a page being much like you'd see it on a PC when there is onboard flash support. Other connectivity options include Wi-Fi, 3G and GPS. On board there's a micro USB port as mentioned, and you've also got Bluetooth. The GPS works well, finding your location extremely quickly, and with the onboard Google Maps is a breeze to use. The pinch to zoom functionality in Google Maps works again very well, and everything is really smooth to go through. In turn, while everything so far has been very positive about the Palm Pre 2, we have a niggle, and that's consistency with regards to performance. On the one hand, the phone can multitask plenty of applications and absolutely fly through the experience. On the other, we can open one application and the phone can hang for as long as 10 seconds. This just isn't on, and while 98% of the time it worked just fine, that 2% really did put a dampener on things. There are a few other niggles, such as a lack of app support and various other things, but we feel these are all being improved. And as Palm rolled out an update to the Pre 2 and WebOS while we've had this unit, which has just been for a week, we're hopeful that it will continue to keep improving the experience. Overall, in turn, you get a really good operating system with WebOS 2.0 or HP WebOS. To wrap up, we're pretty happy with the Palm Pre 2 and how it copes. It's a really nice phone for the most part to use, and the form factor, again, as with the predecessor, went down very well indeed. It's a little bit samey, and also it looks a bit plain now second time round. It's not going to compete with the youth market, for example, when compared to the flashier BlackBerry models. But nevertheless, it feels very nice in the hand, and the construction's pretty solid for the most part. As far as HP WebOS goes, we also found this a pleasure to use. Again, for the most part, as there were a couple of niggles. Nevertheless, if you're looking for really cool functionality and great productivity tool, HP WebOS and the Palm Pre 2 marry very well together to offer you that.
For an alternative handset and operating system, you may want to consider the BlackBerry Torch running BlackBerry OS, or the Dell Venue Pro running Windows Phone 7. All these offer QWERTY portrait phones. If you didn't mind a landscape QWERTY phone, then you may want to consider the Android HTC Desire Z as it's known in Europe, or the T-Mobile G2. Thanks for watching PhoneArena. This has been a video review of their Palm Pre 2. For more on this and other handsets, please visit www.phonearena.com.